We have a lot to get through today, and we gotta get this pretty pink ship to work. It's time to set sail. Welcome back, everybody, to the second episode in our Anno 1800 Beginner's Guide series. Today, we're going to be going over the worker tier primarily, and also jumping into some initial quests. So we can talk about all those, we can get the production chains looked at, and how to best navigate through them. The reception on the very first video was very good. Thank you so much for that. A couple of you have actually mentioned to me that you will be starting Anno 1800 up again because of it, and I'm very, very happy that you're doing so. So I think the first thing that we should really discuss here is we're panning over our lovely little village of Roma as it currently stands. We have this little resident quest. Now, you will notice that we have a little indicator here. It's also on the minimap, so we can also have minimap filters here if you so choose. You can have loads everywhere. You can have like the neutral players. You can turn them off and on. It has the little icons. You can pretty much do that through this little button right over here. But as you can also see, on the blue island and on the yellow island, the bottom left-hand corner, we also have some stars. But before we get to them, let's figure out what this resident quest really wants.
Fancy making hay while the sun shines, master?
Bloody hounds have the whole neighborhood terrorized. Sooner or later, a kid's gonna end up bitten. Lock them away, ye must. I guess I could have done that in some sort of accent, but to be perfectly honest with you, I have a lot of people that live in the UK and watch me, so I don't really want to butcher your accent because I've actually heard a couple of you talk, and oh my god, I'm jealous. So what you do here is essentially we have a puzzle quest. Now, this is not like an actual puzzle in which you have to solve something. This is like you have to find it, okay? So we're just going to hit accept and see what happens.
You can make better. I shouldn't ask. We've all we've ever wished for.
So it'll tell you to find the stray dogs. Essentially what'll happen is if you click on it, it will take you to some part of the map in which it is the closest in proximity to where these particular items are. Now, a keen eye would already spot where the stray dogs are. But if you are new, obviously this is something that you have not experienced. The best way to find things like this would be to go along the roads, okay? So you're moving your cursor along the roads and boom, essentially the hand icon pops up similar to the relocate tool, and that is your quest objective. So let's go and pick that up.
I wish I'd a goose for your kindness.
And she gives us probably the most useless thing we could possibly ask for, being potatoes, because we already have our cash crop right back over here. So that's one. The next thing is that we are going to head over to the blue island, and we will see that Benta over here has a quest in her clipper. So you don't actually have to physically bring your ship over here. You can just click it as is.
I want to look after everyone.
Oh, that's so kind of you. I do too. But in this particular situation, she's going to give us money. Okay, money is really good to get from these NPCs. So let's just go ahead. Oh, she has a gift for me. But she's just going to flat out give me money? Okay, in this particular situation, all she's asking for is for us to sail to her clipper, and she's literally going to give us money.
Already.
Oh, great. Your good deed for the day, isn't it? I really want something that we can go and, like, find. So let's go over to Willy.
Look in my eyes. You are feeling sleepy and very helpful.
I told you before, he scares me, and this is why. So you're going to get some reputation with him if you finish this particular quest. So we'll go ahead and accept it.
I do have a pocket watch.
And we are meant to deliver 10 tons of timber over to Willy. We can definitely do that. The way that you determine your diplomacy is right here, the bottom left with the two flags. So it's going to pop up with everybody that's here, right? As you can currently see, we are...
I wouldn't worry. Most only look at the pictures.
Okay, we'll talk about this fool later, because, yeah, he's a terrible, terrible person. We are currently at peace with all of the other NPCs. We are at war, as usual, with Anne Harlow. We will talk about her later. But right now, we are sailing over to Benta's ship so we can get some money. And in the meantime, what I would like to discuss is we are currently maxed out when it comes to timber, okay? And we don't have the means to actually upgrade neither our small trading posts nor build some additional depots to increase storage capacity. But we can't only sustain an island with only 110 extra farmers. The reason is that when you actually start upgrading, this value goes down, because that's essentially replacing the available amount of farmers for working into actual worker workforce. So what we need to do is we need to build a couple more homes. And like before, we could just do something simple. Now I want to show you guys a couple of additional ideas for building blocks, and I'll do them individually. This is one thing that I like to do, and this is only if you'd like to do like some sort of beauty build, right? You can make a little box like this and put a road around. You can also do a smaller little section of 2 by 2 like that, loop that around. I've also seen people do something like this, in which you make a U shape, right? And then you would put the road connection all the way around. It will get to every single home. Alternatively, you can stuff one more home into the middle here, but do note that if you do that, all you need to do is put a little road connection so all of them have, you know, the needs they need, essentially, to get to the marketplace at this stage. That's really what they want, along with the pub need. But I think we're far
We
away
make the
now.
best of what we have.
Okay, so like, for example, this one, we need another marketplace, so we can just like stuff a marketplace over here, right? A lot of other people like to put gaps in between their homes like so, and put double roads like this. There are so many different combinations you can come up with
Dream
when
of
it comes
wide
to
blue
your
horizons?
homes. It's
Apply
incredible.
within.
So she's gonna give us some free money.
You are incomparable.
Thank you. I try to be. I try to be. So we're gonna head back over here. And as you can see, because we actually upgraded our population a little bit, we expanded rather, we are now in a positive balance. And that is because we're not only providing them with the schnapps that they would want, we're also giving them the pub. But we have to also be very mindful, because if they're too far away from the pub, then they may not be as happy. So we should just go ahead and consider putting another one down. Some of these services do roll over into the next citizen tier, so when we're ready to actually upgrade these guys into workers, we will go ahead and see that. But obviously it's very important to go and check to make sure, do we actually have enough stuff being produced? Well, yes and no. We are almost even when it comes to the fish. We are definitely even with the potatoes. We are a little bit on the lower end when it comes to the schnapps, because the demand is actually, or the supply rather, is a little bit less than the demand, and we're exactly even when it comes to work clothes. So that means you're gonna have to, at this stage, start expanding a little bit with your industry and whatnot. In this instance, what we would have to do is we would have to, if we want to maintain schnapps production, is to build another farm. And we would have to build another farm. You can essentially take this copy. If you have a nice looking one, okay, let's say for all intents and purposes, like just as a test, right? You have a farm that looks immaculate, okay? You have something like this. You want to use this design again. What you can do is just take this copy tool, copy over most of it. You don't need to copy over all of it. You can literally copy over like maybe one section of it, and you can take this and just put it wherever you please. But as we have not done that in this particular area, I'm just going to copy the building itself, because I sometimes tend to get lazy. That's the honest to God truth. And put that right on the other side. And then we're going to essentially just fill in the fields. And I do want to leave room for another schnapps distillery, and put that right over here. And we're just going to fill this out around it, and go over to here, go over to here. And if you want to make your farms look very pretty, hold down shift, and you can drag even more, however much you want. I mean, it'll eventually tell you that enough's enough and you can't build anymore, but like hold down shift, let go, and you're good. So we're good here. Let's get this built up. Let's get the schnapps distillery built up, and that was looking pretty good. So the work clothes is also getting to a little bit of a problem. And I think instead of putting this one back here, we should just go ahead and get another building like this, put on the opposite side, like so. And we're gonna go ahead and build up this sheep farm, and we are going to have to build another framework knitter. So we can put this framework knitter right on the other side of the street. Let's just go ahead and do that. So now we've essentially covered our bases, and we are ready to go into the next citizen tier for the most part. The only other one is fish, but fish, you know, for all intents and purposes, I guess I will build another fishery. There is a nice little strategy when it comes to this, but I will discuss more about fishery and how to get this thing pretty lucrative early game if you have the Docklands DLC. So what you can do here is just put down another fishery to the other side of your harbor area and then build it up.
Flagship ready for orders.
And now you for certain will have everything that you need going into workers. But at the same time, I want to deliver 10 timber to Willy. So what we can do here is just press the 10 very easily, go over here to timber, press it once. We now have the 10, and we can head over to his clipper. If you don't know where he is, here's a very easy way of finding out. All you can do is just click here in the quest book, and it will take you right to the spot that you need to go. And while that's happening, do note that the other NPCs, being Madame Kahina, the gas bag Archibald Blake, and Eli, on occasion also give you quests. They are very much the same. They will pop up with the exact same little quest icons, and you will be able to fulfill the quests. Hopefully, a lot of them at the early stage are just going to tell you to go pick up some flotsam. Very simple to do. All right, so without any further delay, what we need to do is we need to go over here to this upgrade tool. And as you can see, a lot of our homes, they're ready to upgrade. So let's go ahead and do just that. Click and drag.
You reached a new milestone.
And welcome to the worker tier. Isn't that cool? So right now, if you go over, you have a new icon. You have it down here being the workers. A couple new things have popped up. So this is the paved road.
That's all we ask.
Yep, you'll get it. Trust me. You have the paved roads, okay? Paved roads are better. They extend the radius of your services a decent amount. That's the start. Additionally, when it gets to production chains like this, they move faster, which is something that you definitely want. And I'll tell you the optimal strat on getting paved streets actually working very quickly. The next one is the brick production. So in order to actually have paved streets and a lot of other things after this point, you're going to need bricks. And the way to do that is with clay pits. So if you also see right here, you can click on these icons to take you immediately to where those places are. So here's one clay deposit. Be on blueprint mode for this, makes life a little bit easier. Grab the clay pit and just put it on. And we got another one back here and another one right over here, conveniently right next to a warehouse. So we're not gonna have to build another warehouse here. But let's take a look at the timers here, because that's also important. So they're going to be extracting 1 ton of clay every 30 seconds. But hold on, the brick factory here says it's gonna process the goods one every 1 minute. This is tricky, isn't it?
Greetings, fellow wizard. Pray, have you news? I'd rather thank you than spank you.
I told you he's weird. I told you he's weird? Yeah, he's very weird.
I
So,
wish to found a new kingdom here.
see, okay, if you're on a newer or like a save like this, they will actually ask you if it's okay for them to expand. It's up to you whether you really want to be that person. I'll let her do
This
it.
island is the earthly twin of Tian, the mighty heaven.
Okay, yeah, don't jump for joy or anything. We'll probably take it from you later on. So, going back to this, that means that for every clay
A
pit,
competitor raised a
you
settlement.
can have 2 brick factories working for this one clay pit, and we'll go over the design. So let's go ahead and link this one up to the main road. We are also going to have to go and find the one all the way back here, which is kind of off the beaten path for us at the moment, but we'll go ahead and probably try to link up with this road that we've already built here. So we'll do that. We're also using some more wood because we're making a bridge. Alternatively, when you make a paved street bridge, it'll be something like this, and it'll cost both bricks and it would cost... I'm sorry. It won't cost the timber. My brain just wanted to shut off. It will cost bricks, but it will refund you in this particular set the timber. There you go. That's the way that I wanted to say it. So, as you can see here, we're going to need 50 workers for the clay pit. We're going to need 25 for the brick factory. So we can get one of these started from now. Let's go ahead and put that brick factory down, and these guys are going to start working. We can honestly build another one, and I would recommend getting this going relatively quickly. Just put a warehouse right next to it, build that up, and then go ahead with the clay pit. But now you see our workforce, it's at 0. We essentially do not have anybody else that can work. So that means we're gonna have to upgrade some more.
Are you open to trade?
That's early. Sure.
A new style poem of shared prosperity.
Okay, I wasn't planning on getting onto that this episode,
I
but
want to be exactly like you.
okay, now the goody two shoes is just getting too much to me. Oh, I'm a warmonger at heart. I can't stand all the nice positivity. Okay, so when we get into situations like these, you're gonna have to have more homes. In this instance, we have pre-planned a bit and we've expanded Roma to this stage at which we can have a suitable farmer workforce and also have a worker workforce in the bank. So let's go ahead and upgrade a couple more.
A new milestone.
And now we've become a port town. When you reach a specific point, okay, and in this instance where our total population is at 650, you'll get like these little icons that pop up and tell you that now you're a quaint port town, or you're now becoming a city, a metropolis, etc. That's essentially the game telling you that you've upgraded in that tier, which is pretty good. Now, we need to always check to see how we're doing with our goods, and we're good on the fish, we're good on work clothes, and we're good on schnapps. They go through schnapps a lot, so just be advised. This is something I personally, whenever I'm doing any sort of campaign early game, don't really get into much because it's all farming and whatnot, but I want to make sure I cover everything when it gets to this guide for everyone here. So, now that our population has increased a bit, we now have new buildings. We had the sausages from before, which will require us to have a piggy farm and a slaughterhouse, which is essentially a 1-to-1. We also have a trade union. What trade unions do is you can actually put specialists into these buildings, and those specialists are going to impact the effectiveness of any building that meets that particular strategy, or let me try to do this again. Okay, that's really a better way of saying this. The trade union is essentially going to allow you to put specialists in it. Okay, those specialists are going to help out with the buildings that you put them near to. So in this instance, if we wanted to boost our farms over here and our schnapps distilleries, we would have people in there that would do that. They are in a circular radius and they cannot overlap. So if you put one over here, you can't put one over here. You would have to put it like on the edge, right? So like this will be another good spot to put it. But we'll get into trade unions later and influence. The next one is going to be a bread production. As you can see, we're getting a little bit more complex here. And then a public service being the church, which the church is similar to the pub in this instance, right? So what we would want to work on immediately is let's get the whole brick situation under control. I personally, whenever I build some sort of city, like to get the industry kind of far away. I don't know. That's just who I am. So as we saw before, it is a 2-to-1 in this situation based off the times. So what we can do here is we can put down a total of 6 of these. And like we said before, you can always go copy, drag, and place. And if you want to move these, you can use the left and right arrow keys on your mouse, or I'm not on your mouse, on your keyboard. That's what it is. I haven't had coffee this morning. Probably not a good time to be recording a guide, but we're doing it anyway. It is right next to the M key. Yeah, M in between those arrows, not the actual like arrows. And then in this situation, you want to go ahead and put down a warehouse like this. You can put a second one down if you are that type of person. I guess in this instance I will do that, but at the same time I do also have this one back here, so I want to get this thing working. So we're going to actually build this up and build this up, but again, we don't have a workforce. Let's continue to upgrade. This is essentially what the early game of Anno 1800 really is. If you're slow and steady, you'll be fine. And obviously, because this is very important, hopefully you will become a member of the Imperium. You definitely need to put down banners. I don't care how rich, poor you are, you're putting down banners, because this is Imperium business and they need to be on their way. So we have this whole complex set up. We have all 3 of these clay pits working. And essentially what we are waiting for is enough timber in order to build this complex. And once we actually have that, then we will be able to get that production going and then focus on the other stuff. So in the meantime, while we're actually waiting for that, let's focus on trying to get up this whole pig farm and slaughterhouse thing. So I think we already have some farms over here and some farm fields. Let's go ahead and put down a piggy farm right here.
We put our love into this.
And very similar, this also deals with modules. So you can put modules down like this and they'll start working. If you want, like the design that you see here, you can always just copy it and put another one down just like that. But I don't know if you guys caught this. You see this at the top right? This is your total island attractiveness and everything that's going on in your city at the moment. So right now we have a very good attractiveness rating for what we're at currently. And that's mostly coming from the fact that it's nature. We have a untouched countryside. Later on, more than likely, this is going to go away in favor of culture and festivity, but we don't have any of those. So the topmost layer are the good ones. This is what you want to be focusing on. Vulgarity, pollution, and instability are obviously no-nos. So as you can see, we're getting -6 on vulgarity over here. And that is because of the pig farms. Pig farms are not fun to have on an island, especially if you want to mass produce them. That's why a lot of Anno 1800 players later on actually start moving these buildings off to industrial islands that we will eventually cover in this guide series, hopefully, to ward against negative attractive penalties, because you will get penalties. Your people will not be happy when there's vulgarity. They will not be happy when there's pollution that comes from heavy factories, as I mentioned there, or if we have like any wars going on that your island is under
I find
siege.
something to keep you going.
Okay, I think she's just trying to suck up to this at this point. I'm just putting that out there.
Throwing a gift. Why
You
not?
too? Definitely pick these guys. But Princess Shing, for some reason, she just does not want to get involved. Anyway, so I think we have enough timber to at least get the first stage of this going. Let's go ahead and build up a warehouse, very important. And we can just click and drag over both of these. If you were to do this at the bottom right, you'll notice that the values change. If we want to just build one, it costs 500 with 8 timber. If we were to do 2, it's 1,000 with 16. So we want to build 2. And now these things are going to start working. They're going to start with this whole brick thing. Now, going back to the paved streets a little bit, I'm going to set this to fast forward because there's really nothing that's going on at the moment. I really want these guys to work. What I mentioned before when it comes to the whole paved streets business, okay? You want to put the paved streets, in my opinion, in front of the clay pits to warehouses and then warehouses to brick factories. Why? Because they're faster. They will produce faster. They will deliver faster. Well, they won't produce faster. They'll deliver faster into the warehouses, and therefore you will actually see your brick values go up a lot faster. That's what you want to essentially do. But right now, as you can see, our island is in a very weird stage. We cannot actually upgrade any more of our homes, because if we were to do that, then we would have a negative pool of farmers, and therefore buildings like these or these ones right here will not be able to work. Alternatively, if we were to continue working and maybe build like another one of these, yeah, we can probably build one more brick factory, which we will go ahead and do. We don't have enough workers to actually continue with additional worker needs. So that means you have to continue expanding your city. You will never, under any circumstances, delete a banner. If you do, and I know about it, then I will send you a very sharply worded letter. So let's go ahead and continue upgrading. You can do really cool stuff like this, and I'm just doing this quickly.
Could this be my lucky island?
Okay, in this instance, I'm going to tell him no. I don't even know where he is. He's over here. Absolutely not. Get away from me.
There's fun to be found in everything, even quests.
Sometimes they'll pop up right in front of your island like this as well. It's up to you whether you want to actually accept it at this point. We'll get some reputation with her. We'll get some money. It's a win-win here.
We've
Let's see what
doubled
happens.
our efforts.
Really? We gotta find... Okay. So essentially what she's saying is you have to find these particular items on her island. And in this situation, they're actually pretty noticeable because they have this blue outline around them. So we'll grab that, we'll grab that. And then normally they're on the outskirts. So I see another one here already. And we have to find one wolf. There it is, right over here. Right in this little corner. And take as much time as you need.
Jorgensen Trust couldn't be more grateful.
Because they give you 30 minutes for this, so I mean, easy. So easy. Yeah, we need to get over here and build some more roads. You can choose to actually have some key streets like this. It kind of throws the immersion out for me, but if you don't mind stuff like that happening, just go ahead and do it. We need to continue on, so let's go ahead and, for all intents and purposes, copy this side, and we're going to put this one like right over here, and then we can spin it around and potentially put this one like right over here. Now you'll see that one of them is blinking. The reason why it's blinking is, and we're going to move these ones to see another blink, is because we don't have enough timber to build all of it, but we are actually doing very well with our timber production, so I'm not worried about this actually being a problem. We're just going to go ahead and build it anyway, because we can actually upgrade that building relatively soon. And that moment is now. So we now have expanded the settlement a little bit more. We have 10 bricks in here. So what I would like to do, and if you don't want to actually grab the paved street to go here and like actively draw on this, you can always go to the upgrade tool. This is something I learned from the experts in my Anno series who messaged in the comment section. You can always just use the upgrade tool, click and drag over the road, and it forms a paved road. So go in front of every single one of the brick factories, or the clay pits, excuse me, in front of the clay pits, and upgrade them to paved roads so they'll be a little bit faster. So if you look at them, it's kind of difficult to tell because of how close I put these two, but he's kind of booking it, okay? He's not like moving mega slow like these guys are. He's a little bit faster. I think a good spot to check this out would be right over here. When these guys actually deliver
for the
one,
boss.
he might go all the way around. Okay, see, he's going a little faster. It's meant to be fast. But like over in here, right, we need to make sure that these guys are working very quickly. So we can actually probably upgrade this entire road with 5 bricks. And we're going to go ahead and do just that right now. So now that guy is going to go all the way to this brick factory. Not really doing a good job at explaining and showcasing this for me, but trust me, it works. It works. It's a little bit of optimization. It goes a long way.
We don't even have to trade. It's just in case.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
A major partner like you will delight the board.
Delight the board or delight you? That's I don't...
It reflects the times.
Okay, I guess we might as well talk about this editor because he keeps popping up. I have a love-hate relationship with this dude, okay? Mostly because he actively tries to bend me over backwards in every single Anno episode I ever put out. But he may not for you. He might actually say like, oh, this is actually going to be a really fun time.
You are a superior person.
Oh, great, thanks. So my game is a little bit messed up, which is why he's like this, so do bear in mind. You don't actually see him here. But in this particular situation, he provides either buffs or debuffs to your island happiness. So in this particular situation, we are all in the positive. So this would increase island happiness by +10, and then riot chance would be decreased by 50%.
I'm really much better at self-editing on paper.
In order to edit, you are going to need influence. You can find additional paper topics to discuss here, and this also ties into influence generation and use of influence. So if you don't like something, let's say for all intents and purposes, you don't like the center option, you can grab one of these and drag it over to here. And instead, this is propaganda usage. So using propaganda is either going to be seen as a good thing to the other NPCs, or a bad thing to the other NPCs, because sometimes they just do not like the use of propaganda. In this particular instance, we're going to use
I don't
the
think it's misleading.
consumerism, so we get a plus 5% income bonus. And we're going to be using 25 of our influence, which I'll talk about in a moment here. Let's go ahead and publish this.
Of course, you know what's best.
Oh, thanks. I know. You don't need to tell me. I know. And more than likely, the announcer will come over and say, you've gained an influence bonus. Depending on how many you've used. I only used one. But your influence can be seen up here. Influence is essentially increased with your population. Later on, through additional factors, having investors whenever you build investor buildings. If you have the New World Rising DLC, then you can also gain influence through the Grand Stadium, which we'll talk about in future episodes. Easiest way early game to get influence, though, increase your population size. But you can always click on here and you will see a whole bunch of different options. So like when you actually begin, right, your very first of each one of these is going to be free, except for the propaganda usage. If you go to the next screen, you will see all of these and the bonuses you will receive when you actually get to that stage. So we've used a little bit of propaganda, but not enough to reach wordsmith. When we reach wordsmith, it'll be 7% increase effectiveness with the newspaper. Propaganda likes to fluctuate, so like if you stop using propaganda, it'll go down. But like the other ones, for example, now that we've kind of gotten trade rights with 2 of the NPCs right now, this will actually be kind of cool. As well as trading in between islands, that also affects this. Military is through your navies. Optimization is through the trade unions and the town halls, which is fantastic. The maintenance cost reductions are very powerful. Culture is through your zoos, your botanical gardens, and your museums, which increases the attractiveness based on how much you have. And the expansion is expansion to other islands. So we have one island, but it's not enough to even justify being close to the Conqueror trait. So we're working on all that right now. But now we've let the game run a little bit. We have 13 bricks in here and we have 70 timber, but we still only have the 5 worker pool. We need to essentially get to the stage of having some slaughterhouses, okay? Because the very first thing that these workers are going to want
interests at heart.
are sausages. The next thing that they're going to want is bread. The third thing being soap, and the last thing being an education location being a school, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and upgrade some more of these homes. Let's go ahead and upgrade these guys. We'll upgrade these guys, and we'll upgrade these guys. New buildings have been unlocked. Fantastic. So now we have access to a small harbor. It has a whole bunch of these things in there, and I'll talk about in a second. Steel beams, which is going to be your first heavy industry. Soap production, and weapons, okay? In this particular situation, we want to get the slaughterhouses working. Now, we have the piggies over here. Let's just put the slaughterhouses near the piggies.
On every street corner in no time.
Okay, I had a hunch that this was going to happen, so I guess we're going to roll with it. Essentially what
I
this
know you're
is,
busy, but I've a favour to ask.
we can add silos to your farms like this, right? What essentially a silo does is it doubles the production value of that particular good. So you can either choose to blueprint this and come back later, because at this stage it is costing us a decent amount of resources. And what you would have to do is you would put grain into these silos, and then, for example, this sheep farm working at 100% would instead work at 200%, and the value would more than likely, without anything else, probably be at 15 seconds to produce some wool, which is pretty powerful, okay? It will actually cut down on a lot of the buildings that you actually have to put down in order to actually have a good value return. But that is only if you have Bright Harvest DLC. If you do not have the Bright Harvest DLC, you can disregard this. And do note that you will be able to just do the 1 to 2 over here. I'm sorry, the 1 to 1 over here. And you will be just fine. So let's go ahead and put down our first slaughterhouse. I'm going to position it like so. I'm going to put a second one next to it just as is. And we'll go ahead and build this one up. So the slaughterhouses also do add vulgarity to your island. The one that we have is -5. It's not a good thing to have, but we're going to have some sausages in here anyway. We can go to our second island and put it there, but we don't really have another ship besides our flagship at the moment to start trade. But I wanted you to notice, did you see a little indicator above this warehouse really quick? You see how it has these loading ramps that are yellow, and it's now showing the too many transports loading delays? This is going to happen if you have too many industries around your warehouse. That's going to cause slowdown to happen, okay? This is something you don't want to really have happen, because when you don't have enough goods coming into your actual warehouses at a relatively decent rate, you are going to find that you are in a very bad predicament. So it would be a good idea to go over here next to our slaughterhouse over here, for example, or we can build it all the way up the road here. This is also not a bad spot. We can put down another warehouse and it will relieve the pressure on this. Do note that every warehouse also does come with a maintenance cost, so definitely do not spam them. You can later upgrade them, because if we were to actually wait for one more brick, I can show you what the upgraded medium warehouse looks like if they ever want to, you know, put that in. There we go. So you can either choose to upgrade through here, or you can choose to upgrade through here. We'll just use this tool for now. So now we have a medium warehouse, one additional loading ramp, and this is going to really help with this side of the city. So while we're waiting for some sausages to get in, we actually have to see if that's going to be enough, first of all. So it's just barely enough. We can leave it as is, okay? The next stage that we're going to have to do is we need to focus on the bread. Now, bread is intriguing. Bread requires both farmers and workers in order to actually have them function. As you can see here, we have the grain farm, which is 1 minute, a flour mill that's 30 seconds, and a bakery that's a minute. If you would like, you can always go on the Anno wiki, and they do actually have some decent designs for this to optimize these. But to be perfectly honest with you, I've never been a fan of doing that. I kind of like to build as is, right? So we have some farm fields over here. I think we can do relatively the same. We are going to need 2 of these grain farms to equate to 1 flour mill to equate to 2 bakeries. So let's go ahead and put down some of these really nice looking farm fields like so. Let's go ahead and just space it out, make it look nice like that. And I want to try to put another one down here so we can just go ahead and extend the road over here. Kind of a little bit too far away from that warehouse, so I'm just going to consider putting another one down over here like so. And what I will do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab this one, and I'm going to put this in here. And we're just going to build around. And I personally like it when it looks like this. It makes it look very nice and pretty and all that good stuff. So we can just go ahead and fully space this spot out. And we're good when it comes to this. Do note that if you are planning on using silos, you can always build another grain farm over here, which is very simple. Just grab it, put it over here, and you can kind of like blend it in. This also ties into a little bit of beauty building if you're interested. That's what I consider to be the true end game of Anno 1800. So like there you go. That's as far as like this particular field can go. So let's go ahead and start these. We are going to build the warehouse first. It makes it a little bit easier. And then this might be a little bit loud. I highly recommend you zoom out for this, because getting all these fields built up, it's loud, okay? It's gonna be loud. So we have this. We're gonna have that 1 flour mill right over there. And then we're gonna need some bakeries. I think this is actually a good spot. Why? Because we already have some paved streets, and we already have a warehouse that's only just set for this clay pit, and it's not even working at the moment. But the thing about it is, we're gonna have to have bricks to build these. So let's just go ahead and blueprint them like so and leave it as is. Oh yeah, well, we're not focusing on that, Arhan. Thank you. We got another resident quest. What's going on here?
Will you work your magic for us? What we do so love to see.
Okay, so they would want bricks.
These are good times. Could they be even better?
I mean, they can if you want to work on it, but that's up to you. The next stage in this is we're going to have to work on getting some soap production. Soap production is also a bit of a interesting thing because we're going to need some steel beams. As you notice, I haven't built this. Why? you ask? Well, it's very simple. If you go over here to Archie, okay, he's gonna say something. He already has a quest for us, but I'm not gonna accept the quest.
One-piece underwear suits, too prickly. I find singleton shorts and vests to be tried and true.
Archie and I are really close, so he feels the need to tell me everything that's going on in his life. I know he has arthritis, I know he goes to Taco Bell too much, and I know that he's of actual connoisseur when it comes to natural gas. So, as you can see, he's got some stuff to sell. He's got some timber, he's got some steel beams, some bricks, and some sewing machines.
As Her Majesty's adjutant.
On our way.
I was just gonna cut him off right there. I'm gonna tell my ship to go over here and get some of those steel beams, because I don't want to make them right now. It'll cause too much, and I definitely want to go over the industry on its own, because we have two buildings over here that definitely, you know, take advantage of that. So let's go ahead. We have enough bricks here to actually build this one, so we're going to start off with the bread production in earnest, and that should be relatively good enough. You know, we'll go over the second one as well. We also do have enough workforce now, so let's go ahead and build the rest of these, and that'll be pretty good. And our island right now is pretty good. So overall island happiness is plus 31. Workers are happy. Farmers are happy. This is what you really like to see. And we're going to wait for our ship to get all the way to Archie. There are additional quests. So like Princess Ching has one while that's happening, because, you know, this is really your downtime. Okay. You can see
Those who
what
wish
happens.
to grow must themselves grow others. There is nothing like trying.
Okay, so we would have, this is a pickup quest, so we would have to go and get this from Madame Kahina's harbor, which is right over here, and we will deliver it to Princess Ching, and we will give us some money and some reputation. Let's see what she wants.
An especially exclusive assignment. You're keen.
Okay, so we have another pickup quest, which is ironically right over here, and I think my keen eye is seeing that Eli has something as well.
Guilty until you prove yourself innocent. See you on the other side.
And this is for Flotsam, which he's too lazy to go 30 centimeters away from his frickin' island to pick up. I'm just saying, there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. He has a perfectly good ship. He could have done it by himself, but you know what? He's giving us money, so who cares? Apparently, Benta also has something for us as well.
Perhaps it'll mean journeying to the center of the earth. I feel better already.
I do too, not really. So now we have our bricks working effectively. We have some sausages coming in. We should be seeing some bread also be brought in as well soon. And we've essentially covered a good majority of the worker tier. The only thing that's really remaining is to get to the school, but I'm waiting for my ship to actually
Let's
get
hear
close.
it then.
We can hand this in, I guess.
Sure. A promise kept.
Okay, so we got a specialist over here, a welder. Let's go and see what she does really quick. The welder affects weapon factories, heavy weapon factories, and all arms producing multi-factories. And the maintenance cost is reduced by 30%. That's pretty good. Early game, not bad. I would consider using her. We are here. You have the money. Now, be advised here. You can either purchase 1, 10, or all of his stock. In this situation, I want to purchase all of his stock. So that's going to cost us around 5,000. Let's go ahead and do that. And he's going to restock constantly. Okay, so don't worry about that.
Archibald gives his thanks.
Oh, he also likes to talk to himself in third person. That's great. That's really great. He's got a quest here too. I might as well grab that too.
Pull up your braces and thrust into the unknown.
Okay, listen, I've said this once on like my actual Anno series. Take what he just said, now actually enact it in real life. Stand up, pull up your braces, and thrust into the unknown. That is what I actually envisioned this man to do, okay? Like, I love him. I love him, and I hate him at the same time. Yeah, we'll take it. So we have some very easy quests. I mean, this one's a little bit dicey, but we actually have some pirate ships getting in kind of close around here. So that's a little bit concerning, but not too much. So we're going to fast forward this. We're going to have our ship bring in those goods, and we will get to building the soap production, which is really important. Let's go ahead and put them down at least. So in order to have soap, And I do think that I want to talk about soap a decent amount later on. Soap is that one good that you can start supplementing your income very early. Why?
To work with the lowest, yet answer only to God and the Queen. How many can say that?
Only you can, because you're the only person that I'm going to exploit right now. He will buy soap for 384 coins per ton. So that means actually overproducing on soap is going to be a good thing. So we're going to bring our ship over here, and I'm going to just actually put that into blueprint mode. And we're going to focus on that particular aspect of the worker tier in the next episode. So we've essentially covered the basics. We've expanded. We've given them their sausages and their bread. I'm sorry, their bread. And now we have to focus later on with the steel beams, the weapons, and then soap. So next episode, I really want to show how powerful a soap trade can be early game with Eli. Why are you guys all huddled around there? Oh, that's because of the silo. Okay. In the meantime, you can always just go ahead and like upgrade, or in this particular instance, if we were to fast forward, we can actually end the episode off like this. They also would like to have a church. A church is definitely something very easy that you can put down. It only costs about what? 20 timber, 25 bricks? Easy peasy for us at this stage. Go ahead and get it. You can spin it wherever you please. Always make sure you check the lines to see how far it's actually going to go. So in this instance, it will actually cover every single one of our worker homes. Plop it down and build it up. And as you can see, it'll immediately reach perfect depending on where you've put it. Alrighty, so that's going to be the end for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is pretty much the basics when it comes to the workers, starting off with them. So in the next episode, we're going to get a little bit more in depth, and we're going to talk about the industry chains and lucrative sales and trade with Eli in order to get a lot of money early game to help supplement your later expansion and your more expensive buildings. If you did find this guide helpful, please let me know. I very much appreciate it. Apologies for the blunders in it as well. You know, it just happens. I tend to stutter from time to time. It is what it is. So until next time, please consider like, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell button, sharing it with your friends. Let me know how this guide helped you. If I missed anything, please let me know. I will cover it in the next one. And I'll catch you in the next episode, my Rantians.